Dan, how in the world do I choose a stockbroker? I don't even know where to start. This is a question I get all the time, so it's something I want to answer for you in this video today. Now, the very first thing to do is make sure you go and watch this video first. So pause this video, open this one over here that I'm going to leave a link to, click that one, watch that, and then once you've got an idea of what a stockbroker is, come back and watch this video and we'll help you choose what is the right one for you. Funnily enough, one of the hardest parts of getting into the stock market is actually the first step. There are so many options, there are so many firms, there are so many different platforms. So which one's the right one for you? Well, let's dive into that one right now. So let's go over the pros and cons of full service brokers, and then we'll look at the pros and cons of the online option. But please do watch both, particularly if you're new, because you might think you know exactly which way you want to go, but maybe I'll point out some things in this video that will change your mind. So let's whip up a pros and cons list for full service brokers, because there's definitely up and downside to going this way. So the first pro is that they will hold your hand through the process, which is particularly helpful if it's something completely new to you. So much of trading stocks is about confidence. You want to make sure that you are confident making decisions that are financially viable for your future. And the best way to do that, if you don't know what you're doing, is to go to a professional whose job it is solely to make sure that they assess and analyze the market in the best way that they can to help you out. Which brings us to our second pro, which is that they have years and years and years worth of experience doing specifically what you have no experience in, and that is understanding the market, how it works, what influences it, and how they can capitalize on it. And if you're a new investor, that is as important as anything. Now, the next pro is that they have so much information and they have access to just about anything, which is stuff that you can find really difficult to get your hands on. Maybe you don't have the time, maybe you don't even know where to look. But if you've got a full service broker, then they just have that accessible at any time. The fourth pro is that they're going to go through your specific financial needs, your financial wants, and base that off your financial situation, because not everybody is in the same boat. We are all going through life at different paces, having different experiences, different things happening to us. So it's important that we make sure that our broker is looking at our particular circumstance and not just making a generic call, which is the trap we can fall into when we're making our own decisions. We tend to listen to a lot of noise. What are other people saying? What are people talking about? What am I seeing in the news? And that's not always the best way to go about it. Another pro is that you can actually leave all of the decision making up to your broker. You can just say, here are the keys, do whatever you want, I trust you. And you can also take that one step backwards and say, I don't really know exactly what I want, so I'm going to leave it in your hands. Let me know what your plans are, what you're thinking of doing, and then you can make all those decisions as long as they sound good to me. So you can play with those lines a little bit. Now that brings us to the cons, but just really quickly before I do that, I'm going to leave a link here. If you don't know how to read a stock quote, which is really hard for beginners, I've made a video over here that goes through all the different things that you see on a stock quote, because I find a lot of beginners just look at the chart, they say green or red, and that's pretty much all they understand about it. So in this video, I go through all of the terms and terminology for you. So check that one out. All right, back to the cons. Now, the first con is probably the most noticeable, and that is cost effectiveness. It is by far the least affordable and the most expensive way of trading stocks. And it makes sense. You're using a person. Someone actually has a job, they have to pay their own bills, and they're offering you a hands-on personalized service. So it does make sense that it costs more money. You've got someone actively managing your fund, checking on it, helping you make decisions, they're attending meetings with you, all sorts of things like that. So while it makes sense, it's still the number one con because it is the most expensive method to trading stocks. Number two, it can be really hard to find a broker that you trust, especially if you don't already know someone through word of mouth. If you don't know any brokers, you've got no experience in the stock market, you just jump on Google and there's a wide world out there, and it can be really difficult to hone in on one that you feel comfortable using. The third con is something I actually touched on just a moment ago when I talked about the fact that they can control as much of the process as you want them to. So if you give them all of the reins, then you're letting a stranger be responsible for potentially large portions of your earnings and your income and your savings that you've earned up over the years through hard work. you've given the reins all the way over to another person who you barely know, and that can be dicey and a bit risky. So it really comes back down to trust. You want to find a broker that you know that you can trust, they'll be reliable, they follow your orders and the instructions that you've given them, and they act within parameters that you guys have agreed upon. That way there should be no issues. Now the fourth con is a really unethical practice that does happen as well, and again it comes back to trust, and that is called churning. Now, churning is effectively just brokers making lots and lots of trades, buy, sell, lots and lots of trades really quickly, short-term trades. And the reason they do this is to make as much commission as they possibly can on your investments. So if you notice that your broker's making a lot of trades, make sure you speak to them and have them justify exactly why they've done that, because there is a chance that they are practicing churning. So be on top of it, make sure you keep your eyes peeled, and don't let people take advantage of you. All right, now that brings us to make sure you hit the like button. I know you haven't, you sneaky buggers. Get down there, hit the like button. The YouTube algorithm absolutely loves it. It helps my channel so much, and you have no idea how much I appreciate it and how much it means to me to see you guys engaging with my content and liking them along the way. So please like the video. I appreciate it so much. All right, next up, we've got the pros and cons of using online brokers. Another really viable option, and probably leaning towards being by far the most popular new method of investing in the stock market. And it's something that you'll see more and more as the years go by. All right, pro number one, and it is by far the most obvious, and that is, this is the most cost-effective method of trading stocks, without a doubt. And there are some online brokers that are so cheap you wouldn't believe it. Now, just because they're cheap doesn't mean they're the best, and it might not be a viable option for you. Personally, for me, I like to go with brands and companies that I feel really comfortable and confident in, ones that are really reputable, solid platforms. And in Australia, that is the 4 major banks. They all have their own brokerage platform, and I really like using those. So the reason that these are so affordable is because there's no physical people who are managing your funds. You just buy, sell, trade, buy, sell, whatever you want to do on your own terms whenever you please, and there's no physical person pressing buttons. It's all automated. So unlike a full service broker who is catering to you, this is the total other end of the spectrum. The second pro is that there are just so many options online, and they are so easily accessible. Now, no matter where you live, what country you live in, there are online options catering for your needs. And each one of those platforms will have different data, different information, but the good ones will have all of the really important stuff, particularly for you to get started. So if you do choose a big reputable company, you can be pretty confident that they're going to have all of the stuff you need to get started, and you can get your account going in a matter of 5 or 10 minutes. It's really quick and really easy. The next pro is that you are in full control of your portfolio, of your finances, of your money. There is no physical person who is making the trades for you, telling you who to buy, who to sell, where to invest your money. There's none of that. It's you, yourself, and you.
Allow myself to introduce myself.
So this kind of belongs in the pro and con category, because if you're comfortable making trades yourself, it's a real pro. And if you're not comfortable making trades yourself, then it can be a con. So pro number 4 is data and information. And that's where these apps really shine. There's so much data, so much information. All of the reports are on there. You can see it really nice, really well laid out, and it's really easy to go through. Now, not only that, but there's another huge benefit of the data, and that is that it is very close to completely live. Whereas if you use a website like Yahoo Finance, or if you're going through your iPhone and it's got the stock section, that can be up to 20 minutes delayed, which if things are moving really quickly on a particular day and you're looking to quickly get out or quickly get into a stock, you want that data to be as live as possible. And these really good apps are very close to completely live and current. All right, moving into the cons. Now, the first con is super obvious, and it's something we've talked about in this video, so I'm not going to go into any more detail on it, and that is that you don't get the service and the personalized customer service tailored towards you. You are on your own when you are using an online broker. Now, the next con is with that much information and that much really easy, quick, and simple access to trades, we can get tangled up in a web of over-investing, which is not always good. You might find yourself bored one day and thinking, oh, maybe I should just invest in some stocks. So you jump on your app, you look through for a deal that you haven't seen, or look into another company that you start getting excited about, and you can start making way more trades than is wise for your situation. And that brings me to the third con, and that is that human beings have a natural propensity to gamble. And with those apps being so readily available right at our fingertips, it can lead us to making unwise trading decisions that really don't suit our financial needs. And the worst part about it is that we can do it in a matter of seconds. So the big takeaway here is that you still haven't liked this video. I cannot believe it. Guys, after the pitch I made earlier, please do me a favor, like the video. But seriously, like the video. It helps me so much. I really appreciate it, and I appreciate all of you. But the real takeaway is, if you are comfortable in your own decision making and you feel good enough in yourself about making the right trades for you, then online broking is such a good option for you because it's the most affordable and you are on your own to make your own decisions, and it's really, really easy to get started and to set up. But having said that, if you feel most confident in someone else making those decisions for you or helping you, holding your hand through the process and giving you some advice on what could be best for you, then maybe the full service broker is the best way to go for you. And please, don't be ashamed if you do go for full service brokers. There is nothing wrong with that at all. And in fact, I did that for the first 5 to 10 years of trading. I felt most comfortable learning off my stockbroker. I really liked him. I really trusted him. We did really, really well together and had a lot of success. And that was enough reason to keep me going back to him. And that might be the same for you. And it is not a decision that I want you taking lightly. This is your hard-earned money, and we don't want to just put that in stocks because that's what people do. That's a way to make money. It's also a great way to lose money if you're not doing it correctly. So please, do your own homework, do your own research, make sure if it's something you even want to get started in, and then work out what is the best way to go about it for yourself. My next video is going to be coming out on Tuesday, and it's going to be a really important one. It's something that you've probably heard before, but you may not really fundamentally understand how it works and how you can use it to make way, way more money in your future. And if you don't get it right, it's a great way to make way, way, way less money in your future. So please tune in for that one. It's going to be about compound interest, and it's coming out in just a few days. Until next time, I'm Dan, and you've been Dansplained. See ya!